Namaste everyone. So the word Samadhi, it is very much extensively used in the field of yoga. In fact, ultimate goal of yoga has been considered as the Samadhi itself. So it is very essential to understand the nature of Samadhi to walk on the path of yoga. Indeed, this has been a very confusing and contradicting concept actually. Different people interpret this in their own way. I'm not in a position to say this is right and this is wrong, because this is more like an experiential knowledge than just a scriptural knowledge. Scriptures are playing the role of guide. Right? They can guide us to walk on this particular path. But Samadhi is a state which has to be experienced. We'll try to analyze few scriptures here, especially the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, to understand what is Samadhi. If you look at the word yoga, the Bhashyakara on Patanjali Yoga Sutra, he says, Yoga Samadhi. Yoga itself is Samadhi. It is not like to Samadhi through yoga. No. He says yoga itself is Samadhi. If you see other further sutra, he says, Tadadashtuh Swarupe Avasthanam. The person to whom you are saying is yogi, that means he is already established in his own self. They are the characteristics of Samadhi. Right? So here, in Ashtanga Yoga, if you see the 8th step or 8th part, it is Samadhi. The literal meaning is Samano adhiyate aneneti samadhi. That means, for our easy understanding, we can say this is the most stable state of the universe. As all of you are aware that this whole universe is not absolute. This is a relative thing. Even Einstein got his Nobel Prize for that, to propose the theory of relativity. The thing which looks like this today may change its form and get converted into the other form. Relatively, it is looking true today, but it may change its form. Then that cannot be the absolute. So yoga, the path of yoga is all about reaching that absolute. Now, you'll be surprised to hear that knowingly or unknowingly, everybody is marching towards that ultimate goal. The people with awareness, people who know this, they may reach on a straight path in a much more shorter duration compared to the people who are not aware of this journey. Even living or non-living, whatever things you take, each and everything is, this universe is moving. Nothing is constant actually. Where they are moving, everything is moving from higher concentration to the lower concentration. Right? If you try to move a small ball, you need energy. Now imagine, in this whole universe, including all the human beings, all the planets, stars, every celestial body is moving. Where the energy is coming from? Right? So there is an invisible divinity which has set all these things into motion. And that is being in a center, it is trying to attract again because the things have moved out, they want to enter in. They cannot exist without this. They moved out, they have to enter in. So, this is the lowest concentration you can imagine. And the distance they have moved out is the lower concentration, which is attracting all the things within this. Similarly, even this mind or chitta, which is full of chitta vrittis, different types of modalities, mind is trying to throw them out continuously. In this path, if a person doesn't know how to do it, he will keep on accumulating few more. That can create a very thick membrane between his chitta and his own soul. Then he will not be able to see or realize his own self. He may feel the lack of consciousness. When he starts realizing this and walk on a path of yoga and stop developing a new chitta vrittis, distractions, and focus on only one thing, one pointed focus, by dhyana, when his one pointed focus becomes effortless and he gets absorbed into that higher consciousness, he will become, his consciousness will be even more stabilized. That stable state is called as Samadhi. When our mind enters this state, that is not the ultimate point where we have to reach. It is just like I want to visit somebody in New York. I take the ticket for New York from Bangalore airport, right? And finally I just land in US, New York. When I land in New York, then I will be called as I can consider myself as I am in US. Right? I am in New York. But that is not the place I have to go. I have to take another transport to reach to the final destination. From there I have to reach out to my friend's house. When I reach out in his compound, even then I will be called as I am in his residence. But that is also not my place where I have to reach. He will receive me, he will take me to his living area. Then I can say I have reached my destination. But meanwhile, from New York airport till the chair where I am seated in his house, I am in his premises. Right? If somebody asks me in Bangalore, I'll say I'm going to New York. Right? Because if I tell his residence address, nobody may understand it. So here, now the person has just entered in the circle of, in the limits of Samadhi. Now his chitta vrittis are reduced. He is left only with the sattvika chitta vrittis. That too without any ego. He has the sense, he has the knowledge and desire only and only to realize his own self, nothing else. Now he is able to understand that Purusha gradually. In the process of understanding the Purusha, he has to cross the 4 different stages. The very first one is Vitarka. To explain Sampragnyata Samadhi, Patanjali says, Vitarka Vichara Ananda Asmitanagama Sampragnyata. Right? You see 4 stages in Sampragnyata only. The first one is Vitarka. Tarka is logic, which is very sthula, gross. So now person is able to contemplate on this gross world and trying to understand this gross world in and out. Now he got it. He understood the whole universe. He is seeing that completeness in this gross universe. After realizing this only, he will realize one more thing, that okay, this is not the ultimate one. I have to transcend this to see, to enter a new paradigm. Here he had 4 obstacles actually. Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, Smita. The first one is Vitarka. He transcended this. Only 3 things are remaining now. That is Vichara. He understood that the whole gross universe has emerged out of this subtle thing. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Tanmatra. Now he understood in and out of these subtle things. But even now he understood that, okay, this is not the ultimate one. I have to transcend this. He enters the limits of Ananda now, a layer of bliss. Right? He entered in the state of bliss now. He is feeling happiness, never-ending happiness. Even then, he realized that this happiness is coming from, again, that source of consciousness. He is trying to transcend this layer of Ananda, enters into the layer of Asmita now. What happened in Asmita? Asmita here is understanding the entire universe as one. He is not able to distinguish between the Prakriti and Purusha. He is understanding and perceiving these two as one. Because his Chitta is still unable to divide these 2 things and understand. He is feeling this Maya or this Prakriti itself is a Purusha. See, he has developed enormous knowledge. He knows each and everything of the universe now. Right? He is only one step behind, one step less to reach there, where he is seeing both the things as together. He needs to separate these 2 things. Then he can just leave the unnecessary thing and enter into the final one. When he can transcend the level of Asmita also, when he is able to make the distinction between the Atma and Prakriti, then he will enter into the state of Asampragnyata Samadhi. Now, Asampragnyata means even the knowledge is also not there. It is not required. That doesn't mean that he is an ignorant person. It is like raising ourselves beyond the level of knowledge. right? Beyond the level of knowledge. You have realized your own soul. You don't need any knowledge about the soul because you know him now. We have seen him now. We have submerged into him now. You are the soul now. Because knowledge is also the part of Prakriti. If you see the Srishti Utpatti Krama, Purusha, Prakriti, right? This Prakriti initially was unmanifested, it is called Avyakta. The first thing to manifest is Mahat or Buddhi, or the knowledge. This Buddhi about whom, what, it is again Ahankara, me, that supreme I. It is of three types, Sattva, Raj and Tama. Permutation and combination of these three gunas are making a formation of the Tanmatras, Indriyas, Mana and Panchamahabhuta. These things are creating the entire world which we are seeing now. So now going to that Asampragnyata Samadhi is Pratiprasava, going back and getting merged in that. Right? So this is Sampragnyata Samadhi and Asampragnyata Samadhi. In Asampragnyata Samadhi, Samskara Shesho Anya, only and only Sanskara remains. Sanskara of Samadhi. Sanskara of the Purusha. Nothing else. You don't need anything, you don't have anything. You have transcended everything with your Abhyas and Vairagya. There are no Chitta Vrittis. I have done it. Even that sense is also not there. You are not showing this to anybody. Even if you are showing this to your own self, I have. If you realize that I, still you are on the way. Right? Only Sanskara Shesho Anya. Here Anya means Asampragnyata Samadhi. Right? So this is a brief introduction of Sampragnyata and Asampragnyata Samadhi. With this, I am taking your leave. I wish everybody to have a healthy and happy life. Namaste.